Will the audience please stand for the Wing Walker ROTC group to post the colors and the playing of the national anthem?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we felt at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we've watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
Please be seated. As we just heard our national anthem and watched our ROTC post the colors, it seems appropriate at this time to acknowledge all of those joining us today that have served this great nation. I'd like to ask everyone who's served in the U.S. Armed Forces to please stand and be recognized. Thank you for your service to this great nation. Good evening and welcome, everyone. My name is Mark Stetter, and I have the honor and privilege of being the Dean for the College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences here at Colorado State University. Just a quick reminder, if you haven't done so already, please silence those cell phones. I also want to ask you to do a quick applause for our wonderful Delaney Leffel, who's a recent alum who was our soloist in the CSU Brass Ensemble. Thank you. Welcome one and all to the 2018 Fall Commencement Ceremony. What a great day, and we celebrate and recognize the accomplishments of these phenomenal graduates. But a major accomplishment of this magnitude is never done alone, and we want to celebrate and recognize and thank our families, our friends, our faculty and staff who have all helped make today such a wonderful experience. We're so pleased that you're here today, and we thank you for traveling the many miles and making the time to join us. Let me start with some key introductions of those that are joining us on the platform. I'm going to ask each individual to stand as their name is called out, and I'm going to ask the audience to please hold off your applause till everybody is standing. I'd like to start with Ms. Lynn Johnson, Vice President of University Operations and Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Leslie Taylor, who's Vice President for Enrollment and Access, Dr. Colin Clay, who's Professor and Head for Biomedical Sciences, Dr. Jack Nikoloff, who's Professor and Head of Environmental and Radiological Health Sciences, Dr. Greg Dean, Professor and Head of Microbiology, Immunology, and Pathology, Dr. C.W. Miller, Professor and Associate Head for Biomedical Sciences, Dr. Judy Heiderscheit, who's Assistant Professor and Director of our Environmental Health Program, and Dr. Jennifer McLean, Associate Professor and Associate Head for Microbiology, Immunology, and Pathology, and Dr. Phil Quirk, Assistant Professor and Director of our Undergraduate Neuroscience Program. Please join me in recognizing them for joining us tonight. Thank you. Our land grant mission includes a common theme of access for all individuals. Our mission is built on the principles that people with the talent and the motivation to earn a degree from a world-class university, regardless of their background, regardless of their race, their gender, their social status, their religion, or beliefs, deserve that opportunity. And that by providing this opportunity, we allow them to improve their lives, the lives of their families, and to strengthen society as a whole. And because the first word in Land Grant University is land, it's incumbent on us to recognize where the land came from and how this history permeates everything that we do. Colorado State University acknowledges with respect the land that we are on today is the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, the Cheyenne, and the Ute nations and people. This was also the site of trade, gathering, and healing for numerous other native tribes. We recognize the indigenous people as the original stewards of this land and all the relatives within it. As these words acknowledge and are spoken and are heard, the ties of these nations have to do their traditional homelands are renewed and reaffirmed. CSU is founded as a land-grant institution, and we accept that our mission must encompass access to education and to inclusion, and that our founding came at a dire cost to Native nations and people whose land this university is now built on. This acknowledgement is the education and inclusion we must practice in recognizing our institutional history, our responsibility, and our commitment. Thank you. It is my pleasure now to introduce Kirsten D. Krieger, who's the graduate in microbiology and has been elected by her classmates in the Student Council to make the student commencement address today. Kirsten?
Thank you, Dr. Stetter, for that introduction, and thank you guys for taking the time to listen. My name is Kirsten D. Krieger, and I study microbiology. Many of you know me as Curdy, or that really loud girl in a lot of your classes. Although I didn't start out as a CVMBS major, I am so utterly grateful that I found this college and that I found a passion for studying microbiology and researching virology. After Googling how to write a killer commencement speech, I found that most websites suggest I begin with a quote, so we're gonna try that. One quote that caught my eye was said by Marie Curie. She said, "I am among those who believe that science has great beauty. Our science can and will have great beauty. Our science can and will impact others and change the world." To my fellow students, we've been through it all. College is done. It's crazy to think that 4 years, 4.5 for me, flew by pretty quickly. We've had both good times and tough times that we will all remember for years to come. Specific struggles being applying to grad schools, med schools, future careers, while simultaneously studying for exams, going to classes, and for some of us, even completing research. Or weeks when 3 exams all fall on the same week and you have no choice but to get less than 4 hours of sleep every night. Or those times where you're trying to figure out how to succeed in our courses like Gen Chem, to OChem, to Biochem, to physics, to physiology, and all the other rigorous courses that we took. But of course, it's okay because we struggled together. Now, the good times, of course, outweigh the bad and provide us memories of getting involved in our department or college, whether it be becoming a student ambassador or joining student associations, or even becoming a UTA, an undergraduate teaching assistant in some of our classes. Or the excitement of acing an exam that you swear you failed, or even presenting your research for the first time at your first conference. Or those times where you finally get to go to a CSU football game because you don't have a conflicting exam. Or at least for me recently, the feeling of confirmation that I completed all my senior capstone requirements and I would indeed graduate on time, as well as so many more amazing memories. To CVMBS and the faculty, thank you. Thank you for welcoming me with open arms when the 4 other majors I tried out didn't fit. Thank you for providing us with that small school feel in a school of over 30,000 students. Thank you for making student research a priority and for providing as many opportunities as possible for students from every major. And finally, thank you for making every student feel important and heard. To the faculty, I would not be the person that I am without the interactions that I've had with you, or have the goals that I have for myself today. Our faculty are absolutely spectacular. They are kind-hearted, they are genuine, they are intelligent, and they are qualified in what they study. Thank you, faculty, for doing what you do, and thank you for being the amazing scientists that you are. Throughout our interactions, I feel as though I've truly learned to think like a scientist. Not only does our science have great beauty, but our science can give us the opportunity to help others, change the way that people think, and overall impact this world for the better. As Dr. Seuss once said, "Congratulations, today is your day. You're off to great places, you're off and away. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself in any direction you choose. You're on your own and you know what you know. You are the ram who will decide where to go." Thank you for your time and go Rams.
Thank you, Kirsten. Very well said. Gotta love a little Dr. Seuss in there. We are very proud to be here today in celebrating our graduates and the great transition from university into the real world. You will see that we have a very, very impressive graduating class, and we have students from all over the country and all over the world, from California, Illinois, New Mexico, and even from Russia. We, of course, have a large group of students also from the great state of Colorado. And we're also very proud that over 1/4 of our students are first-generation students. First-generation students are ones that they're the first in their family to attend a university, and the success of these first-generation students are particularly proud to our college and to the university. It's a special treat to recognize students who are graduating with distinctions and with honors. For students being honored, I'm going to ask you to rise and wait till all of those in your category have been named, and I'm going to ask the audience to please hold off until everybody has been standing up. Let me start by recognizing students graduating with the highest cumulative GPA. Summa cum laude students are in the top 1% of their class, magna cum laude students are in the next 3%, and cum laude students are in the next 6%. These graduates may be wearing gold regalia. Let's start with Tom Ryan, who's graduating magna cum laude, Jacob Berg, Riley Cluxton, Juliet Dean, Sonia Gumba, and Michaela Maldonado, who are graduating cum laude. Congratulations. Candidates graduating as University Honor Scholars or Disciplinary Honor Scholars must complete the honors program and also maintain a grade point average of greater than 3.5. These students may be wearing green regalia. Our honor students are Noelina Benedict, Jacob Berg, Leslie Bouilly, Juliet Dean, Kelsey Lawton, Michaela Maldonado, Victoria Sullivan, and Vivi Tron. Congratulations. The college is also particularly proud when recognizing outstanding graduates in their degree program. And during each term, our graduates are evaluated by the faculty in their department, and through their achievements and promise, there is one student that rises in each degree program to the order of most distinguished student. I'm going to ask that the Professors C.W. Miller, Judy Heiderscheit, and Jennifer McLean come forward to present the awards for their degree program. I'm going to ask that Sonia Goomba, Max Brown, and Kirsten D. Krieger please come forward when escorted by the marshal.
Thank you, Dean Stetter. Each semester, a faculty committee selects the outstanding senior. We don't know each other that well, but. So each semester, a faculty committee selects the outstanding senior from among the graduating class. What do they look for in this student? Outstanding academic record, history of being involved in the discipline and major, leadership, history of giving back through, for example, volunteering, ability to balance competing priorities, balancing academics and other competing worthwhile activities is an art, and Sonia gets it. Sonia has an outstanding GPA and has worked and volunteered throughout her entire undergraduate program. She, by the way, as Dr. Stetter referred to her, is from Russia and graduated in high school from St. Petersburg not that long ago. Along the road, she was a gymnastics coach for a couple of years up in Cheyenne. A few of her other activities included helping patients at the University of Colorado Health Center, helping them recover from procedures. She was an EMT volunteer at Poudre Valley Hospital here in town, where she performed a variety of often life-saving procedures. She was a nursing assistant for the cardiac unit at University of Colorado Health. She was an undergraduate TA for Dr. Sushman and Dr. McLean in a class of about 150 students, in microbiology 300. They loved her. The fun part of my position is to ask faculty involved with our outstanding senior to comment. So in Sonia's case, she will be leaving a legacy in several classes at CSU. What could be a neater tribute, Sonia, for you to have an instructor remember you and refer to you fondly as a top student who stood out in their class years after you're gone from here. Here are a few statements. Professors Sushman and McLean are my colleagues in MIP. This is what they wrote together. She is an excellent role model who demonstrates collaboration, assertiveness, and a passion for helping her peers learn. She was one of the most conscientious and actively engaged undergraduate learning assistants at MIP 300 and a tremendous asset to the students. Instructor Kenny Ivey in our department and in human anatomy remembers Sonia as a student who stood out in the summer of 2017 in a class of 100 because she was eager to engage in the topics on a daily basis. She was enthusiastic to help students struggling with difficult topics in the lab. She was adept at blending lecture and lab into a cohesive learning experience. Sonia achieved an almost perfect score in the lab and was an amazing student and individual. And then lastly, I contacted your English prof in composition 301B, which is writing in the discipline, instructor Allison Welker, who was eager to help me the other day when I mentioned why I was calling her to ask about Sonia. She wrote, or she told me on the phone, Sonia's work was so eloquent, and this is where the legacy comes in again. I will be using her writings I don't know, I can never get through this stuff. As examples for subsequent classes. Now that is a tribute to you, Sonia. Again, quoting Allie, her final project was one of the most unique I have had in my many years at CSU. She was able to connect all of her 3 articles to a central narrative and theme that went above and beyond the assignment expectations. And this is me, yes, above and beyond. And all 4 of your references talk about going above and beyond. You're amazing. To quote again from Allie, Sonia did this in an attempt to share her science with those less familiar with the difficult processes and jargon, because Sonia felt that the topics on heart disease, emergency treatments, and overall health would benefit a larger population. Allie also talked about Sonia's natural leadership abilities, something our committee looked for, her supportive presence as a team member, her enthusiastic personality. You got an unbelievable beaming personality and positive demeanor, which brightened the room. Yeah, you're brightening this room, and encouraged others to feel at ease. Allie ended with we're all thankful to have had the opportunity to work with and learn alongside Sonia. So instructors that learned from you. So Sonia, I did get through it, with a lasting legacy in BMS microbiology classes, as well as in Comp 301B. On behalf of the Department of Biomedical Sciences, congratulations to you, Sonia, on being selected as the outstanding senior from BMS for fall 2018. Congratulations.
Faculty in the Department of Environmental and Radiological Health, come on over here, Max. Sciences select the outstanding environmental health graduate, and we look for those that not only excel academically, but also contribute to the environmental health program, the university, and the environmental health profession, as well as demonstrate initiative and integrity. I've been looking forward to sharing with you why we chose Max. Max has been a fully engaged and often entertaining member of our environmental health family. We've graduated many students from our program over the years, but I assure you there is only one Max. Max is unique, thoughtful, intelligent, at times inappropriate, and always curious. Dr. Marie Laguerre said Max was a great student who thought outside the box and had great questions that you didn't see coming. Learning went both ways with him, and I enjoyed every moment of being his professor. While at CSU, Max participated in the following activities. He was Associate Senator for the CSU Student Government Body, President and Treasurer of the Environmental Health Student Association, and he sent out many, many lengthy emails and had such sign-offs on these emails as best regards and aromatic flower bouquets. Thanks for reading, and dream of happy cows going to live in peace on a big farm somewhere, which was right before a tour of a meat processing plant. Okay. Also, hope this helps. Happy bond formation, fellow molecules, best regards, and smell of baking brownies to you. He was also an outreach volunteer for the City of Fort Collins in the Healthy Homes program, where you would go in and inspect homes for health and safety. He was student representative on the Colorado Environmental Health Association board. He attended the, I'm going to call it CHA, that's the association. He attended CHA and fall technical conferences every year that he was here, and presented at 2 of the CHA conferences. Which brings up my favorite memory of Max. So we attended the Colorado Environmental Health Association conference, and there is a banquet on, I think, the second night, and as part of a talent competition, Max performed his own rendition of The Devil Went Down to Georgia. He had his own words to the song, and he brought his tuba to the conference, and he had an entire room of over 200 environmental health professionals singing the chorus to this song as he played along on his tuba. Very momentous. He also interned with the Flathead City County Health Department in Kalispell, Montana. He's been a student research assistant in epidemiology and took on the additional task of learning statistical programming for analysis, which I got to work with him on this semester. He volunteers with Habitat for Humanity, and he also participated in an alternative spring break where it was on social justice and incarceration, so he is a pen pal with 2 incarcerated individuals. Max also loves to read. I think your most moving book recently was Evicted. So if you've read that, it's a lot about social justice, environmental justice, and policy. And by the way, Erin Reichert would like to know how you have time to read all the books that you recommended to her if you were studying so hard. You can answer her later.
It was over the summer.
And then I have something Dr. Cheryl Magsamen shared. She told me that when she was talking about mercury poisoning from wastewater in class that resulted in animal and human deaths with no government or industry action to prevent these deaths, Max raised his hand and asked how government could just let these people die and not do anything about it. So here's what she said. When Max told me he was interested in graduate work in public policy, I felt a little more optimistic about our future. If students like Max will take up the fight to resolve these wrongs and help promote healthy and safe environments, the world will undoubtedly be in good hands. She also asked me to tell you that you owe her 2 lit reviews. So, where does a tuba-playing environmental health graduate go from here? Max is intending to return to Chicago, which is where he grew up, and pursue his interests in social and environmental justice issues through graduate studies in policy. I'm thinking maybe politics in Chicago for you.
Fun.
Yes. So to paraphrase another of your email sign-offs, I hope this has been useful to you. Have a transcendent weekend.
Thank you. Aw, thanks. Thank you, everybody.
Well, like every semester, the MIP faculty were faced this December with choosing one outstanding graduating senior from a crop of excellent and highly competitive students. And just like every semester, the faculty were deliberate and thoughtful in their selection of the student they feel is most deserving of this honor. Curdy, I'm just gonna call you Curdy because that's what we all call you. Curdy was chosen because she truly embodies the spirit of this award by excelling in all 3 areas of service, research, and academics. So let's start with Curdy's service because this is an area where she especially stood out, and her dedication and devotion to the department merit both praise and recognition. Here is what the faculty and advisors had to say. Said Heather Galanti, advisor Heather Galanti, quote, Curdy has been amazing to work with in her roles as a CVMBS college ambassador and teaching assistant. Her passion for microbiology and learning in general are contagious, pun intended. And it's amazing to see how others are inspired by her enthusiasm, unquote. And here's what Megan Kosofsky had to say. Megan worked very closely with Curdy in the Microbiology Student Association, which is MSA. Quote, for Curdy, microbiology is more than a major. It is a superpower. That's kind of awesome, right? To Curdy, being a microbiology major means helping others, whether they are fellow majors or people in the community. She has collaborated on a variety of research projects, hosted a number of informational sessions with prospective students interested in microbiology, and served in leadership roles in the MSA, including as the event coordinator and as vice president. I have been enormously impressed by Curdy's leadership, enthusiasm, and commitment to making the MSA a group the department can be proud of, unquote. Along those same lines, said former Associate Department Head Dr. Erica Suchman, quote, Curdy was instrumental in helping to turn MSA around when it had a very low participation rate for a long time, unquote. Yeah, I can vouch for that too. It's been really fun watching you work your magic. Okay, so now let's move to research. I think Curdy's current faculty research mentor, Dr. Roshika Pereira, sums up Curdy's contribution to research best. Quote, Curdy joined my lab in the summer of 2017 as an eager, excited student who really wanted to get into the lab and do research. It didn't matter what she was asked to do. She found excitement in the simplest lessons and was so intrigued by all that she learned. Since then, she has worked incredibly hard to become an amazing researcher and now functions with the intuition, critical thinking skills, teaching skills, and drive as an experienced graduate student. As a result, I am very excited that Curdy has chosen to remain in my lab for the next year after she graduates and finish her first author paper while she prepares to enter graduate school. The growth I've seen in this student is exemplary, unquote. As if that were not impressive enough, Curdy has presented her work at local, regional, and national meetings and has received many awards, including the first place undergraduate award at the annual Rocky Mountain Virology Conference. I can't look at you right now. Academically, Curdy is an excellent student and a rigorous major. Even in her academic life, Curdy was a leader. She helped to pioneer the peer mentor program. She taught her peers as an undergraduate teaching assistant, and she branched out of the department as a mentor to her peers in the bioscience mentorship program for biotech. Curdy, I speak for all of the MIP faculty when I say thank you for making your mark on MIP. You've raised the bar not only for this award, but also for future student leaders in MIP, and you have positively impacted both students and faculty alike. So congratulations.
Thank you, professors, and a special congratulations to Sonia, Max, and Curdy for your incredible achievements, and I know that this will be just the first of a long string of professional accolades to follow. Ms. Johnson, it's my pleasure to confirm that each of these students has completed the degree requirements for their program of study and have been recommended by the faculty in that discipline to receive their academic degree.
Thank you, Dean Stetter. When I received my invitation to come up and be the honored guest to confer the degree today, there was also a statement in here that said, remarks of Ms. Johnson's choosing, up to several minutes max. Well, unlike Curdy, I didn't go out and do internet surfing to figure out what kind of comments I might make at a graduation ceremony such as this. And when I reflected on what resources I had available, I remembered the long emails that I had from Dr. Frank, and I thought, all right, up to several minutes max. All right, I'm in pretty good company here. I think I could probably fill the gap. Unfortunately, I know I won't fill the gap as if it were Dr. Frank standing up here. As a member of his leadership team, oftentimes I'm asked for advice. You know, Dr. Stetter had mentioned that I was the CFO, so most of that advice tends to come in the way of questions around finance. Well, I'm going to share with you a piece of advice tonight, very small piece of advice that I hope that when you walk out of here, you may not use it anytime soon, but at some point you're going to run across a situation and you're going to go, what were those 3 words? I really could use them right now. So they're just 3 words. They're 3 words that I wished I would have had in my vocabulary in the order in which they are when I was a young professional starting out like you will be. I wish they were words as a young mother that I would have had dealing with 2 challenging young boys. And Lindsay, if you wrap me out on my story, I'm gonna come and find you. So I wanna share with you a story about these 3 words, because they're 3 words, if they're used, they could hinder you ending up in a conversation that will dwindle down poorly like mine did with my son. So one day after a long day at work, I walked into the house to this aroma that I just about fell over, and I had to walk back out to the garage, take a deep breath, and walk back in. And Curdy mentioned something about feet. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about shoes that go on the feet, and I'm going to imagine some of you parents may have experienced something along these lines. So I finally walked back in, and I found that where this smell was coming from were a pair of tennis shoes for my 11-year-old son. And I went and picked them up, and they were soaking wet inside, but they were completely dry on the outside. I was lost as to what was going on with this. So, of course, I walk a little bit further into the house, and it's later after they'd been home from school and had finished their homework, and I walked over to him and I go, "Why are your shoes smelling and so wet?" Well, the tone of my voice, the structure of my body when I asked that question, he immediately got defensive. And our conversation went on a downward spiral very quickly. And I wish today I would have had those 3 words, because that would have ended up in a totally different scenario. And had I used those 3 words, I would have found out that the reason why his shoes were wet is every morning before he went to school and he put his shoes on, he wet his socks down because the seam that went across the toes were driving him nuts. I think there's a lot of ways we could have solved that problem for him versus wetting down his socks and going to school with shoes smelling horribly. So I get you're probably wondering right now, what could these 3 words be? Well, I've shared them with many colleagues that I work with and some of my parent friends. And I tell you, I have to smile very regularly because these words are often used back at me when people are having conversations with me. There are 3 simple words. Help me understand. Whenever you're in a situation where you don't know what it is that you're moving into or you're in conflict, just stop and think about that, because it will change the nature of how you approach the problem you're trying to solve and how you might go about doing the work necessary in order to understand better. As I said, my colleagues use this in meetings with me, and just today, I'm sitting across the desk from an individual that I work with on a regular basis, and right out of her mouth was, "Lynn, can you help me understand?" And I knew what was coming next. It was something that we had been working on that she felt I probably did something different than how she would have, and she just wanted to understand. So I just suggest that you take those 3 words with you, think about them, and if you ever feel the hair on your back rising or your muscles tensing, you might want to think about those words, because they are a great way to start the next part of the conversation that's going to be coming out of your mouth when you're starting to learn something new. So those are my 3 words of advice to you, and I hope you find them useful in your future careers. So at this point, I would like to ask the graduates to stand, rise for the conferring of the degrees. So this is the part of the ceremony that you have worked so hard for and you deserve. So by the power vested in me in the Colorado State University system, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Science with all the rights, privileges, obligations, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Guest and family members and colleagues, please join me in congratulating these graduates on this significant achievement.
Well, that is very helpful, Ms. Johnson, as I've come into your office many times asking for things, often millions of dollars, and you usually say, "Help me understand." So I don't know if I've been very effective. Thank you. Please be seated. At this point, will our commencement marshals, Chase Weldon and Kristen Brown, please escort the graduates to the platform. Dr. Sandy Quackenbush, our Associate Dean for Academic and Student Affairs, will read about each student as they come across the platform.
The following graduates of the Department of Biomedical Sciences will be greeted by Department Head Dr. Colin Clay and Associate Department Head Dr. C.W. Miller. And congratulations will be offered by Dean Mark Stetter, Vice Presidents Johnson and Taylor, and college and university officials. Sonia Gumba of Fort Collins moved to the United States from Russia and learned English before starting the Biomedical Sciences program. Volunteered as an EMT, where she gained amazing experiences, including saving someone's life and got engaged. Sonia plans to attend medical school after getting married in March. Jordan Orth of Cedar Falls, Iowa, conducted research, participated in the Microbiology Student Association, and was the proud Riser Scholar, where he gained team-building experience. Jordan is raising his son Asher and will work in research before he pursues further studies in graduate or medical school. Danielle Taramorin of Centennial participated in several CSU clubs, including Mountain Riders Horse Club and Collar Scholars, volunteered at Animal House Rescue, and worked at Homestead Animal Hospital. Danielle plans to apply to CSU's Professional Veterinary Medicine program. Victoria Sullivan of Manahawkin, New Jersey, worked in a preclinical surgical research lab with sheep and goats, was a teaching assistant for field necropsy, and worked as a veterinary technician. Victoria plans to pursue veterinary school with a particular interest in cats, cows, and goats. Angelica Tran of Fort Collins researched in the Kim Synapse Biology and Cognition Lab, and received exciting news that their recent paper was accepted for publication in the journal Neuroscience. Congratulations. She also volunteered with Heritage Camp for Adoptive Families. Angelica plans to work as a medical scribe over the next year. Jacob Berg of Monument founded Star Watcher Studios, an independent film company, and Campus Film Symposium. Jacob also researched with Dr. Susan Bailey on the NASA Year in Space project. Jacob plans to continue building Star Watchers Studio and pursue a master's in business administration. Michaela Maldonado of Waxhaw, North Carolina, worked at CSU's Veterinary Teaching Hospital in the Critical Care Unit, became a coach for equestrian vaulting with a local company called Complete Equestrian, and completed research in oncolytic virotherapy. Michaela plans to attend CSU's veterinary medicine program next fall. Thomas Ryan of Westminster completed a full human cadaver dissection, worked as a resident assistant in Newsom Hall, and as a community coordinator in Aggie Village. Thomas plans to attend medical school and become a surgeon. Amanda Jo Later-Haas of Aurora researched in a Parkinson's lab, went on a medical mission to Nicaragua, and worked in a center for children diagnosed with neurological disorders. Amanda plans to attend medical school. Hadiya Jalafar of Highlands Ranch studied abroad in England, participated in multiple clubs like Global Medical Brigades, and enjoyed her time outdoors and exploring Fort Collins and northern Colorado. She plans to pursue graduate school and become a college professor. Matthew Lane Renner of Fort Collins built strong relationships with family and friends, enjoyed golfing, worked a variety of jobs, and shadowed various healthcare professionals. Matthew plans to gain additional healthcare and life experiences before applying to physician assistant or medical school programs. Lindsay Booth, of Loveland, was a dissector for the Human Anatomy program, taught English in Madrid for several summers, and was a student athlete for the CSU track and field team. She competed in the heptathlon and the pentathon. Lindsay plans to pursue a master's degree in biomedical sciences. Garrett Penor of Colorado Springs was the backcountry coordinator for the CSU Snow Riders Club and loves spending his free time outdoors. Garrett will be working as a medical laboratory technician after graduation. Kelsey Lawton of Cary, North Carolina, was a student athlete on the CSU swim team, studied abroad in Jamaica, presented a thesis at the MHDIC conference. I don't know what the whole name of that conference is, but, and climbed her first 3 14ers in one day. Kelsey plans to get her EMT certification and work as an EMT while she applies to medical schools. Kelly Cosson of Castle Rock was blessed with many incredible experiences, including studying abroad in England and interning in Mexico. She also hiked her 44th Colorado 14er and hopes to complete the final 12 after graduation. Kelly plans to travel and work as an au pair before medical school. Gabrielle Jones of Colorado Springs gained excellent childcare and medical experiences while working for Respite Care, obtained her phlebotomy technician certification, and ran her first half marathon. Gabrielle plans to work as a certified phlebotomy technician before applying to physician assistant programs. Elise Van Leuven of Highlands Ranch volunteered at Camp Wapi Api, which was a life-changing experience. She climbed 9 14ers and further developed her love for nature and shadowed many physician assistants in a variety of settings. Elise plans to work as a medical assistant with Colorado Dermatology Group while applying to physician assistant programs. Savannah Mackenzie Sandvik of Loveland was a teaching assistant for human gross anatomy, began to recognize and express her synesthesia, a condition where unrelated senses are linked, and fulfilled a lifelong dream of traveling to Ireland. Savannah plans to begin a physician assistant program after working as a medical scribe. Leslie Bowie of Longmont received the First Generation Award, completed a thesis titled Cruciate Ligament Reparation, a Human and Canid Comparison, is a member of the Chi Omega fraternity and worked at Advanced Animal Care of Colorado. Leslie is interested in pursuing further schooling in graduate school or veterinary medicine. Jenna Lacey of Edmond, Oklahoma, worked as a technician on the trauma unit at the Medical Center of the Rockies, researched the human papillomavirus, traveled to Peru, Costa Rica, and India. She won a 10K for the Estes Park Marathon 2 years in a row, and she plans to apply to medical school. Riley Elizabeth Campbell Cluxton of Colorado Springs is a member in Kappa Alpha Theta, where she has held several leadership positions, including president. She ran the Horsetooth Half Marathon and researched in a biomedical sciences laboratory. Riley hopes to work as a traveling leadership consultant for Kappa Alpha Theta before pursuing medical school. Chase Beard of Farmington, New Mexico, worked at a veterinary clinic in his hometown, enjoyed meeting interesting new people in his classes, and worked at the on-campus bake shop. Chase plans to work at a veterinary clinic to gain more experience prior to applying to veterinary school. Please join me in congratulating our biomedical sciences graduates. Maxwell Macaulay Brown is from Chicago. Oh, first I should say these are the graduates for the environmental health undergraduate program. And they will be met by Dr. Jack Nikoloff, the department head for environmental health and radiological health sciences, Dr. Judy Heiderscheid, and congratulations will be offered by university officials and Dane Markstetter. So let's start again. Maxwell Macaulay Brown is from Chicago. Max has been an active leader in the Environmental Health Student Association and a longtime volunteer for the City of Fort Collins Healthy Homes program. He interned at Flathead City County Health Department in Kalispell, Montana, and is currently applying to graduate school in public policy. Evan Tanner Eppard is from Littleton, Colorado. Evan worked as a tour guide for several summers at the Coors Brewery, and he completed an internship at Miller Coors in Golden, where he examined their wastewater systems. Evan looks forward to starting his career in environmental health. Please join me in congratulating our environmental health graduates. The following graduates of the Department of Microbiology, Immunology, and Pathology will be greeted by Department Head Dr. Greg Dean and Associate Department Head Dr. Jennifer McLean. Congratulations will be given by Dr. Stetter and college university officials. So, Curdy D. Krieger of Naperville, Illinois, conducted research in Dr. Pereira's lab, worked as a teaching assistant, and was vice president of the Microbiology Student Association and did a fair amount of volunteer work. She hopes to obtain a PhD in microbiology and become a professor. Marissa Lucinda Quiliche of El Dorado Hills, California, performed research in Dr. Gonzalez Moero's lab, backpacked in Moab, and enjoyed biking and hiking. After graduation, Marissa will pursue a master's degree in microbiology. Okay. Nolani D. Benedict of Aurora conducted research in the Quackenbush and Rovnak lab, served as a financial officer for CSU's Science Fiction and Fantasy Club, completed an honors senior thesis. After graduation, she plans to continue conducting microbiology research and is very excited because she was invited to interview for CSU's veterinary medicine program today. Sierra Suggs of Fort Collins performed independent research, presented her research at CSU's Celebrate Undergraduate Research and Creativity Showcase, and worked in the molecular virology and parasitology diagnostic labs at the Veterinary Teaching Hospital. And Sierra hopes to work in a diagnostic or research lab after graduation. Juliet Rose Dean of Fort Collins completed her honors thesis at the Center for Disease Control here in Fort Collins. She worked in Dr. Zabel's lab and was a member of the Kappa Delta sorority. Juliet hopes to attend graduate school this fall and obtain a PhD in viral immunology. Okay. Carly McAllister? Okay, so next we have Carrie McAllister, another microbiology undergraduate receiving her degree today. Okay. Molly Graves Newton of Colorado Springs worked in Dr. Borley's research lab, served as a peer learning assistant, and worked in a coffee shop. After graduation, Molly will travel in Southeast Asia for 2 months before entering the workforce. Anna Priemkova of Moscow, Russia, gained experience in academic research, traveled around the U.S., and made great friends along the way. Anna plans on gaining work experience before continuing her education by applying for a medical laboratory science program. Paige B. Leahy of Highlands Ranch worked in Dr. Ryan's research lab and worked as a pharmacy technician. Paige will continue to work as a pharmacy technician while applying to the medical laboratory science program at Metro State. Caitlin Elizabeth Arabic of Littleton enjoyed working in labs on campus and participating in school activities like the Rocky Mountain Showdown. After graduation, Caitlin hopes to attend the Colorado Center for Medical Laboratory Science program at Metro State in Denver. Morgan Juliana Bland of Broomfield worked as an undergraduate learning assistant and as a lab aide at the Summit Pathology Lab. She joined Gamma Beta Honor Society and hiked every trail in Lorry State Park. Morgan will attend the Microbiology Immunology Master's Program here at CSU next fall. Joseph Tyler Gallegos of Firestone conducted research in Glenn Telling's lab for 3 years, and he's contributed to multiple publications and received several awards for presentations, and he also served as an associate center for the Associated Students of Colorado State University for our college council as a rep. After graduation, Joseph plans to obtain a PhD in neuroscience. Chandler C. Bridges of Columbus, Ohio, participated in the President's Leadership Program and conducted research in Dr. Karen Dobos' lab. After graduation, Chandler will work at Battelle Memorial Institute on the defense team of our nation's security. Bradley Mitchell Souter of Loveland conducted research at the Veterinary Teaching Hospital and at the USDA. He participated in the CSU rugby team, worked as a preschool teacher, and met amazing people. His future plans are to put one foot in front of the other. Please join me in congratulating our microbiology graduates. The following graduates are from the undergraduate neuroscience program. This program is jointly sponsored by the College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences and the College of Natural Sciences. Our graduates will be greeted by Dr. Philip Quirk, and congratulations will be offered by Dean Mark Stetter and college and university officials. Okay, Vivi Tran is from Westminster, and when she wasn't playing tennis, she found the time to double major in neuroscience and biomedical sciences. She really enjoyed pursuing the two majors so she could broaden her understanding of integrative human biology, and plans to take a year off to work and travel, then begin training as a physician assistant. Kyle Ray of Broomfield conducted research in a biochemistry lab, completed an internship at the NYU School of Medicine, and volunteered in Nicaragua for the Global Medical Brigades. Kyle plans to pursue entrepreneurial opportunities in the biotechnology sector after graduation. Yinan Sadeh from Fort Collins was involved and spent his free time with the Shabbat Hillel activities and spent his summers in Israel, where he will move after graduation to serve as a combat medic and then attend medical school. Okay. Natasha Snyder of Lakewood spent her time working in Dr. Kim's lab and pursuing cancer prevention research. While in Dr. Kim's lab, she got a paper on AMPA receptors published in the Neuroscience Journal. Congratulations, Natasha. While not in the lab, she enjoyed the company of her roommates and is thankful for their deep friendship. She is now seeking a research associate position outside Colorado to find new adventures. Alexa Lenz from Indianapolis worked as a research assistant studying how music can mitigate the cognitive decline associated with dementia, and volunteered in a neonatal intensive care unit and an emergency room. After graduation, she will travel for a month before starting her position as a medical scribe and applying to professional school. So, join me in thanking and congratulating our neuroscience students and all of our undergraduates from CVMBS.
On behalf of the entire College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences, I extend to you our Fall 2018 graduate class. Job well done and congratulations. would like to now pay tribute to a vital force here at the university, a force of which you are receiving your degree are now part of. I'm referring to the Colorado State Alumni Association, and I'm glad to call upon Dr. Phil Quirk, who's a two-time CSU alumni, to induct our newest class.
Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Phil Quirk, and many years ago, I'll never forget how excited and proud I felt to finally get the diploma in my hand. But I also remember feeling a little sentimental about leaving this beautiful campus and jumping into real life, moving away from some of the greatest times of my life at Colorado State University. It may be time for all of you to write that next chapter, to tackle that next adventure and live your purpose. Everyone sitting here has a different path and future ahead. But whether you stay in Fort Collins or travel to the far ends of the world, you all have one important thing in common with each other and more than 220,000 others out there who have come before you. You are all alumni of Colorado State. And like those rows of American elm trees on the oval, you are rooted here. This special place will always be your home. I'd like to be the first to welcome you to the alumni family. You join poets and scientists, teachers and engineers, food producers, care providers, and entrepreneurs. When you leave this campus, be assured your university will not leave you. No matter where your personal and professional journeys take you, know that the CSU Alumni Association, your college, and your former professors will be here for you every step of the way. Congratulations on a job well done. Go Rams!
Thank you, Phil. Our college is routinely rated one of the top colleges in the country, if not the world, and there are a great many things that have to come together to reach that level of excellence. But the most critical elements are the combination of our students, our faculty, and staff. And I know that we have the very best of all of those categories. I'd like to take a moment and ask all of our faculty and staff who are here tonight to please stand and be recognized. Thank you all. So I'm going to go off script for just a moment, and I wonder if the graduates would indulge me and raise a glass, raise your imaginary glass of champagne, because I'd like to toast those in the group, those in the audience today that have probably been most important in your success. I'd like to toast the family members, the fathers, the mothers, the spouses, the children, the family and friends that are here today for all of the support you've given to ensure their success tonight. Thank you and congratulations. Cheers. You can toast them for real in a little bit later, okay? The mission of our college is to improve the health of animals, people, and the planet through innovative and dedicated teaching, research, outreach, and clinical service. And through our actions, we empower the next generation of leaders to change the world. And I'd like to repeat that last sentence for just a moment. We empower the next generations of leaders to change the world. Graduates, I hope you feel empowered and are excited about your future. I know we're looking forward to seeing all the great things you will do to help animals, people, and the planet. That concludes our ceremony for today. I'm going to ask that the members of the audience please stay seated while the platform group, the students, and the faculty and staff please exit while we play our alma mater. Thank you for being with us today, and congratulations.